clackety kitty cars.
Points for pageantry. This is not what I expected.
Vader! I knocked you, buddy!
Hello everybody, welcome back to the range. Tom here, and today we're doing this Hot Wheels Land Lowrider. I thought it was pretty neat. I seen it at Walmart, thought I'd grab it. I don't really know what kind of car it's based off of, but I had an idea of what all I wanted to do to it. So why don't we head on down to the range and let's check it out. Well, like I said, pretty neat little casting. I apologize for this portion of the video where it's kind of dark a little bit. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm thinking my lighting's going dim because as soon as I change the lighting, it'll be better, I hope. But I wanted to go something different with this Land Lowrider. And the thing was, I really don't know. I had a thought in my mind. I knew what I was wanting to do with it, but I couldn't figure out exactly what all I was going to do. But I did a lot of customizing. I made a lot of custom parts, and I can't wait for you guys to see the final results because it turned out amazing. But the one thing I wanted to do was I was wanting to cut out this complete back section of the hood and the window and get that knocked out of the way. I wanted to just, well, my original plan was I was going to just kind of make it like a little seat setup and, go from there. But what I ended up doing with it, I ended up changing it up a bit. Before I actually stuck the stucker in the gun oil, I did a lot of cutting. I cut out the little side skirts. I cut a little bit more out of the hood because I ended up getting a bigger hood bigger engine for the vehicle. And, I kind of changed it up. You'll see one engine here in a little bit. That's kind of I was basing everything off of. But I ended up going a different style engine than, actually what I originally chose. There was a lot of cutting and a lot of filing. I wanted it to look cool. I didn't really do a severe paint job on the body itself. I kind of left a little bit of straight metal. After I just got done with it, I just left it the diecast metal, and I just kind of did some weathering style to it. And honestly, I'm glad I went that route because it actually made it really look neat when I got done with it. I was inspired by the Giga Horse to make this from Fury Road, but this ain't the Giga Horse. If I would have had a second casting, I would have tried a Land Lowrider Giga Horse if I would have tried. But that's kind of what I was basing it off of, was how it was raised in the back and how it dropped down in the front, and the big old motors in the front, the 2 V8s, but I only went with one large engine. I ended up making fender or wheel wells, just kind of blocking those off because I didn't want you to look down in the back and see, the wheels. I ended up making a custom lift kit, from scratch because the ones I got, they were kind of broke off and stuff like that, so they didn't really work too well, but that's okay. I wanted to just see if I could do it, really. And honestly, I like how I did it. I just had the square styrene, I don't know, the square styrene, and I just kind of just used layers. I layered them up, kind of grooved out a little portion of it. I put an axle hole on one of them, and honestly, I think I went a little too much. I think I could have just kind of shied away from how many layers of the square styrene that I used. I could have went less, honestly. And But all in all, I think it turned out really good. You know, I was wanting to put some shocks on it, but I didn't have the chance to because it was just hard trying to figure out how I was going to do everything else because I ended up putting a drive shaft in it with, you know, kind of an off-road style look. You know, I took pieces off of a lot of different vehicles that I had just laying around. So it was really cool to actually get it out there and, you know, just attempt it. You know, you see that I'm, you know, I'm trying to cut away a little bit of areas, you know, trying to get it all smoothed out, grooving it, because I'm going to end up putting a seat right there in between the two fenders, or wheel wells. And luckily enough, I found a seat, you know, it's just kind of randomly sitting. Like, I keep all my little spare parts. If some of the seats come out and I like them, or I keep the interiors, I keep pretty much almost everything from other vehicles because I never know when I'm going to use them. You know, I even take, you know, if I cut it off, like a back half or something, I'll keep the back half and just kind of possibly use it for something else. And I'm going to end up doing a 2-into-1 build later on. But first, I got a truck my dad's wanting me to do. It's a 2017 Silverado. It's one of the pullback cars. It's not a 1/64 scale, but he wants me to make it look cool. So I'm going to put my own little work into it. I'm going to customize the off-road kit. I'm going to put a lift kit on it. I don't know if I'm going to custom make one, or if I'm going to take one from the Just Trucks and just detail it up or anything like that. I'm not for sure exactly what I'm going to do with that part yet, but I'm going to do something. You know, right now I'm just having trouble trying to get this chair to actually sit still and, you know, just dry. You know, I got the Instaset spray, but I try not to use it because it kind of, I got the cheap stuff, so it's not the one in the brown bottle, it's the cheaper one. And it tends to kind of build it up, like when you use baking soda and glue, kind of builds it up and goes from there. But that's all right. You know, this is the hood, or the engine I got off. What did I get this off of? One of the Muscle Mania's little cars or something. But I wanted the engine off of it, so I used this one to make a template for me cutting out the hood. And I really wanted to use this, but what's funny though is at the time before everything got done is I ended up dropping it and I couldn't find it. So I had to go with a different style engine with the same kind of the same size engine top. And luckily enough, the windscreen had a little flap on the front that I kind of trimmed down, and I glued the engine to so it would fit and not have to worry about, you know, trying to build up anywhere. So I just used that, glued the windscreen in after everything was said and done. You won't be seeing how the paint went until the very final results. But all in all, I think it turned out amazing. You know, just I wanted something to, you know, just kind of something different that I haven't done because I've done Mad Max, you know, cars and, you know, wasteland cars, but I wanted to try a little something different. You know, I made this roll cage in the back so it separates where the seat would be, and then I just kind of mocked it up and, you know, put this angled bars on there and just use some brass rod is what I use, because it's easy to maneuver and stuff like that, and it holds better than the styrene, I think. But I really love how that part turned out. So, you know, I wanted to put a weapon in here, so I wanted to make sure there was room for me to put like a little weapon, and I found this weapon that I was making for a prior build a while back that actually rotated, that it would actually move up and down and stuff like that. And it was just something I rigged up together to where, you know, it was functional, it moved around. So I was looking up, that turned out good, but you won't see me doing anything right off the bat with the weapon system because, I wasn't for sure exactly where it was going to go, but I ended up putting two 50 caliber machine guns on this thing. But you'll see where I put those on a little bit later. And, I got a lot of stuff that's coming up in the near future. I go see a pain management doctor next week. So I got to drive an hour away just to get shots in my back and I have to drive all the way back. Not going to be fun. But I found this at Walmart. And what caught me was the fenders and the stacks. I really liked how they looked. So I wanted to use the stacks on this car. I had to do a lot of modification, a lot of cutting, a lot of, test fitting. But all in all, I think it just looks slick. It just looks like something I would not want to try to race. I'll tell you that much right now. I'm going to end up using the fenders. I'm going to make probably make a rat rod style car. I got a bunch of these rat rod kind of car parts. So I'm going to try to make a chassis out of scratch and, kind of just do something like that and just use the fenders to modify and use on there. I don't know exactly what all I'm going to do just yet. It's just a bunch of stuff coming up in the future. But those that got their packages in the mail, Cole from Kuda's Diecast Customs, I'm really hoping to see like an unboxing of that video, the Mercedes that I mailed you. Andrew from Maple Leaf Customs, he got his package. He said he's going to be doing an unboxing. So stay tuned to him to see what all he got. You guys remember his giveaway build? I threw him a little extra one in there. The two vehicles that I sent him, I did a video on both of them. So you might remember them from the videos. And from what I understand, he really likes them. So I'm hoping, I can't wait to see the video with them in it. But I'm just really happy he got them. They turned out, they came in one piece. So I was really happy for that. Bunch of my subscribers and people on Instagram got their packages in the mail. I'm still got two more I got to send out. I'm sending one out tomorrow, and that's over at Ivan's Diecast Garage. Or I can't remember what he is on Instagram, but I'm mailing his build out tomorrow, along with some channel decals, channel stickers. So, and now you see what the engine I ended up going with, but the way that I got the stacks set up, I'm working on the custom chassis right now, so I'm really trying to get it set up and work on that. And you can see what I'm talking about by the layers, just kind of layering it up and layering it up and layering it up. Kind of wish I wouldn't have done so many, but I was trying to make it look cool, and I could have did better on it. But honestly, for the first time of trying this kind of lift kit, it turned out relatively well, and I was really happy with the final results of how it turned out. I got these wheels that I wasn't going to use them at first, but I ended up using them at the end. And you can see that the chassis portion's already starting to take shape, and I got them sanded down and grooved around. And like I said, I kind of wish I wouldn't have gone so many layers with the styrene, but it turned out really good, and I was really happy with it. And it's really starting to take shape. I did not use the back wheels. I used something totally different, because it did not look right with these little bitty wheels. There you go. So I ended up using these Just Trucks wheels for the back, and got these standard ones for the front, these standard off-road ones for the front. And honestly, I thought it looked a little bit better. But like I said, and here's the wheels I thought about using for the front, but I didn't use them. When you see the final results, and we're almost to the end of this video, so I know you guys are probably ready and excited. to see what this comes up with. I used a plow from this bulldozer. You know, you see that sitting there. I got this little skull from a sissy bar I made for a motorcycle sitting there. But the way I painted it, it looks awesome. I used some decals on it, but they're not like picture decals. They are bullet hole decals that I put on this. There is nothing that says Caliber 50 Customs other than it being a custom. You know, it is a one of a kind, just something I wanted to do, and I thought it looked great, and I was really happy with it turning out. Right now, I'm working on making a drive shaft piece for the base and everything, and it went together a lot better than I expected. So I was really happy with it. You know, I wanted to make it look good, you know, and it did great, and it looks good for the off-road setup. I could probably do another off-road build with this setup. The only thing is these tires would not look good without the other one, so I'm gonna end up probably using the other set of just trucks for a rat rod build. That probably sometime like a mud truck or a mud dragster or a hauler, a puller, you know, one of the puller races that they do with the trucks and big weights and stuff like that on the back. So I might do something like that. But there really wasn't no hard part to this except trying to make sure everything lined up when I glued it into place, that the drive shaft and the differential and all that stuff looked like it belonged there. You know, you got the stacks. So what I did with the stacks, I just kind of, at this time, I went on a chrome pin on them. But as you see here, the whole tire setup in the bottom is all ready to go. You know, it's getting close for me to get ready to start doing paint. So I'm just waiting to make sure everything's fitting together before I start doing paint. I want to make sure the wheels look good, you know, everything sets up. It kind of rolls, but it doesn't. But here's the plow I ended up putting on the front. I thought it looked good with the little setup that I had, and you know, it kind of braced it up against the front. A little skull from the bone shaker I put on the front. But you guys remember what we started off with? This nice little lay-in lowrider. You know, it looked sleek. It looked like something that you'd make a rocket car out of or something like that. You know, I haven't seen anybody do this one yet on their channel. Just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean it didn't happen. So, yeah, you know, I see a lot of people that got them. But without further ado, let's check out the final results.
In my domain, got the whole crowd screaming out our name. It's a blowout, it's a hurricane, it's over before you know it. While you're shaking, we're a dynasty in the making. We're the
And I'll see you next time at the range.